Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing well. I want to talk about self-empowerment today and some of the areas where people I think are most likely to not feel very empowered. The most common area I think is voice. People tend to not speak up. And this is, for a variety of reasons, but they're all rooted in trying to control the outcome of a situation at one level or another. It's fear-based. That's what fear is. It's control. So, what you can do is think of it like this. If you are focused on having faith in the universe to be representative of truth, light, love, all that, um, truth is the most important thing. And I think that dishonesty, deception, um, not truth, it is directly connected to fear, trying to manipulate a situation away from what it really is to control the outcome for personal gain. When you're thinking about collective gain, truth is the most important thing because think of it, a lie is something that only certain people believe, people who've been led to believe that. The truth is something that everyone collectively believes because it is reality. It is That's the difference between the truth and a lie, is how many people are affected by it. So the truth is objectively the better option for the majority of people. And when you have faith in that, it's the same as having faith in love and compassion for other people, empathy, just acknowledging that we're all part of the same universe. We all have to, treat each other right. Otherwise, we're going to get isolated and boxed out, and we're not going to be treated right because we aren't treating other people right. So, if we're going to share space with other human beings, which I think is inevitable, no one can really live completely without interacting with others. Um, in fact, in my own personal belief system, I think that's the whole reason that we're here is to learn how to better interact with others. If you're just living by yourself under a rock the whole time, not really contributing anything to the rest of the world, you might as well not even exist, at least as a human. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I want to mainly focus on why you should use your voice for this part. So, if you think about like having faith in truth, when you believe that, you're basically saying that you trust things to play out how they're meant to. You're not going to try and manipulate it for your own purposes. You're just going to say, you know what? As long as I speak the truth, as long as I say what I really mean, um, then it's up to the universe how it plays out from there because the universe is representative of truth. So it's out of my hands at that point. When you try to control it because you're afraid, I'll give you some examples. Let's say that you're afraid because you think that you might get hurt. Let's say you're afraid because you think someone might, attack you. In that case, it would not be safe to tell the truth. It would actually be dangerous. So it's not that you're um, being manipulative as much as you are just trying not to put yourself in danger. But this is a situation that does not happen often. A lot of people perceive danger where there is none. And it is generally important to say, just ask in your gut, your higher mind, the universe, just your own logic, if nothing else. Just say, am I actually in danger right now? If I speak the truth, is it really going to put me in a situation that is objectively bad? Like, let's say you're kidnapped and you have to lie to your kidnapper in order to get out sooner. Obviously, that is a decision that would be supported by the universe. You had to do it. You were being mistreated, and lying was the only way for you to get away from that situation, or at least the fastest way, which is important too. If, however, you are just afraid that somebody might get mad at you or something that doesn't actually put you in danger, you have to trust that, even if it does put you in physical danger, what if it's a situation where you can leave? What if you're afraid to speak the truth at your job, but you could just quit that job? Or afraid to speak the truth with people you live with, but you could just move? You know what I mean? Like it's not to say that it isn't dangerous, but there are other options. And it is always better to choose those options because you're doing a disservice to yourself if you remain in a toxic situation where you can't speak the truth and you say, well, how could I speak the truth? This is what would happen if I did. And it's like, well, yeah, but maybe you shouldn't be in that situation in the first place if you can't be yourself. So use your own logic. I think you would be able to decipher by yourself that if you're kidnapped, you have to lie. But in general, it's not good to be dishonest. It's generally a disservice to yourself. So maybe you're afraid of hurting someone else. Maybe you're afraid that the truth will hurt their feelings. That's not your responsibility. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be considerate. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't be compassionate in your delivery. But you shouldn't conceal the truth from someone just because you're afraid it'll hurt them. People deserve to know the truth. And how would you feel if you found out that someone was keeping something from you because they didn't think you could handle it? I personally would prefer that they trust that I can take care of myself and that I can handle the truth. I can handle anything. So can you. We all can. Um, the second area that I think people struggle to feel empowered, other than using their voice, is sometimes just standing up for themselves in terms of circumstances. Setting a boundary, putting their foot down. This can also be related to using your voice, obviously, but it can also be physical. It can also be, stopping someone from attacking you or changing your circumstances to make it so that they can't attack you. And a lot of people just stay in these unhealthy situations because they don't think that they can handle it. There's this idea, it's like the devil you know. You feel like your comfort is in familiarity, and you're afraid that if you try to leave and venture out and go somewhere else, you might find yourself in a situation that's even worse. This is often related to like leaving jobs. People kind of widely accept that all jobs suck and you're not going to be happy working anywhere. That's not true. That really isn't true. There are some jobs that don't really have any value or depth to them. They pretty much just exist to serve a kind of collapsing system. I personally am not a big fan of the capitalistic society, the way that it encourages people to think in a very dehumanizing way, and it sets it up where it's sort of like there's a hierarchy, people on the top and people on the bottom. And when you're working for the people on the top, you're not really doing yourself any favors. But there are times where you kind of have no choice. You're just working at a corporation where it doesn't really provide any actual good to the world. Um, if anything, it's maybe like a band-aid for a cut that it caused. But it doesn't really do much, so you don't really, your heart's not in it, but you need the paycheck. And maybe you can play it smart and save up some money or something. Maybe it was right at one point, and maybe it was a stepping stone for you, but you shouldn't have to stay there forever. And it is true that there are a lot of available jobs that are not great, but you shouldn't feel like you have to stay at a job that, every bone in your body is telling you to get out, and you stay there just because you're afraid that you won't find something better. Trust me, anything different is better just because it's different. You can't do the same thing for too long without going crazy, unless it's something that you really are supposed to be doing, something that's you could say like part of your life's journey. um, because that obviously you should be doing for as long as you're supposed to be doing it, however long that may be. Um, and you shouldn't judge it either. A lot of people are very like overly practical and they don't trust their instincts enough. They don't pay attention to what their body is telling them. You're sick all the time, you're depressed all the time. Like, look at your circumstances and see if there's anything in them that could be causing this, because it isn't just if you've been exposed to germs or if you have a chemical imbalance in your head. Depression can be caused by a number of things that are entirely based on where you are. And the best way to counteract that is to get some flow going. I think I talked about this in my last upload about just getting some movement, getting the ball rolling in any direction is better than stagnancy. So I think it's really important that if you want to feel self-empowered, if you want to feel like you're taking control of your life, you have to own your voice and you have to own where you are in the decisions you make. And don't let anybody tell you that you're supposed to stay in a toxic situation or that you shouldn't speak up and you shouldn't be yourself. It doesn't matter what anyone says. There will be people who try to convince you that it's the right thing. I think this happens a lot with people in minorities. Like, obviously, if you're a different race or ethnicity, you have no choice but to accept that. A black person can't pretend that they're white, but a gay person can pretend that they're straight. You know what I mean? Like, there are some minorities where you can sort of convince yourself that you're not really a minority. And obviously, most people would prefer that because it's less work. You don't have to really go against the grain. You can just sort of be what people want you to be. but it's doing a disservice to yourself. And that is not something that you want to do. You want to be honest about who you are. With the gay example, just any member of the LGBT community, if someone's convinced you that it's immoral in some way, that it's wrong, that you're hurting people, just ask yourself, am I actually hurting anybody? Am I manipulating people, trying to control people? Am I physically or mentally or emotionally damaging anybody else? The answer is likely no. And if you are, it's not because you're LGBT. It's just a coincidence that you're happening to act like an asshole. Even though you also happen to be gay. It's just a coincidence, I promise you. Um, because the truth is that it doesn't hurt anybody. There are a lot of things that do hurt people. There are a lot of terrible actions, but anyone can do them, you know? So don't be cruel to yourself. Don't let other people try to dim your shine, and just just keep going, you know? I know it's hard. I know there's moments where sometimes it feels lonely or hopeless, but if you push past it, I promise you you will find that you're not alone and that there is a lot of hope always. It never goes away. You just don't always see it. And that's okay. You don't have to judge yourself for having moments like that either. So, yeah, I think I said just about everything that I wanted to say. Um, Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time you decide to watch one of my videos. I'm hopefully going to be able to do live streams soon. I finally reached 50 subscribers, but it hasn't recognized that yet for some reason. But anyway, I appreciate every like and comment and subscription, and I hope you have a great rest of your day or night. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you feel empowered.